let's say that the consensus is that our species, we being the higher primates, Homo sapiens, has been on the planet for at least 100,000 years, maybe more. Francis Collins says maybe 100,000. Richard Dawkins thinks maybe 250,000. I'll take 100,000. In order to be a Christian, you have to believe that for 98,000 years, our species suffered and died, most of its children dying in childbirth, most other people having a life expectancy of about 25, dying of their teeth, famine, struggle, bitterness, war, suffering, misery, all of that. For 98,000 years, heaven watches it with complete indifference. And then 2,000 years ago thinks, that's enough of that. It's time to intervene. The best way to do this would be by condemning someone to a human sacrifice somewhere in the less literate parts of the Middle East. Let's appeal to the Chinese, for example, where people can read and study evidence and have a civilization. Let's go to the desert and have another revelation there. This is nonsense. It can't be believed by a thinking person.
How can we reasonably think that God exists? Let me ask you this question. Scientists who begin to look at the universe ask themselves this question: why does the universe have the rules that it does? Why does the universe operate according to the particular dials and parameters it has? What if those parameters were a little different? And the scientists who look at that said, if you change these parameters even an infinitesimal amount, if the gravitational force were slightly different, or the strong nuclear force, or the electroweak force, we would not have this universe, we would not have life, we would not be here having this debate. Now, what is your explanation for how we live in such a fine-tuned universe? It would seem to suggest a fine-tuner or designer. Darwinism is hopeless here because it's not accounting for the universe, only for transitions among life. So what is your rational theory for why we live in a fine-tuned universe?
But the Bible does not teach the point of view that many people hold today about why they're suffering. I would imagine that if we did a survey of all of you here tonight and asked you, why is there suffering? One of the principal reasons virtually everybody would say is it's because of free will. You all will remember a tsunami that killed 300,000 people. Whose free will caused that? Or more recently, an earthquake in Haiti that killed 230,000 people. Whose free will caused that?
G.K. Chesterton, the great writer of the 19th century, early 20th century, said that the purpose of an open mind is the same as the purpose for an open mouth. It's meant to close on something. And an open mind, in pursuit of the truth, is seeking the truth, and it needs to close on it so that you're not perpetually open. If you're perpetually open, then it's a self-defeating endeavor.
Not only did he not mention Stalin, not only did he not mention Mao, he didn't mention Pol Pot, Ceausescu, Fidel Castro, Kim Jong-il. Now, Richard Dawkins in The God Delusion says, well, there's a big difference. The Christians did what they did in the name of religion, but the atheists aren't committing their crimes in the name of atheism. Now, this is what happens when you let a biology major out of the lab. Because here's a guy who knows nothing of history. I wouldn't accuse you of that, Christopher. But all you have to do is read Marx. All you have to do is familiarize yourself with communism. It was an explicitly atheist ideology that sought to create a new man and a new utopia, liberated from the shackles of traditional religion and traditional morality. It was no accident, as the Marxists said, they always targeted the churches, they always killed the clergymen and the priests and so on. And that's why the atheist regimes killed more people in a week than the Inquisition could kill in 3 centuries. And why? Because of the maxim stated by Dostoevsky and the brothers Karamazov: if God is not, everything is permitted.
Let's get one thing straight and one thing clear. We've got the flows and you've got the ears. It's a perfect match and ain't no need to ask nobody.